Berkut holds 240 people maximum, not because of space, but because that is how many lifeboats fit. That is not a luxury problem. It is a survival constraint on the world's heaviest offshore platform, operating in one of the most hostile environments humans have ever drilled for oil. This is a story about extremes, engineering, economics, environment, and the 237 people who live inside it all. Berkut sits in the Sea of Okhotsk off Sakhalin Island in far eastern Russia, in Arctic and subarctic waters. Winter temperatures hit -44 degrees Fahrenheit. The platform is a gravity-based structure, 200,000 tons of reinforced concrete and steel anchored to the seabed by its own weight. It is 472 feet tall, taller than a 40-story building. The topside alone weighs 42,000 tons. It withstands waves up to 59 feet, ice blocks 6.5 feet thick, and earthquakes up to magnitude 9.0 on the Richter scale. It needs to, because out here, nature does not negotiate. So why build something this massive in a place this brutal? Global oil consumption in 2024 hit roughly 102 million barrels per day. Russia is one of the world's top 3 crude producers. Beneath Berkut lies the Arkutun-Dagi field, an estimated 140 million tons of oil, about 1 billion barrels, trapped deep under the seabed in a tectonically active zone. The Sakhalin-1 project was developed by an international consortium originally led by ExxonMobil, Rosneft, a Japanese company, and an Indian state oil firm. Berkut was designed specifically to access this difficult geology, where floating rigs would be shredded by ice. Construction started in 2012. Operations began in June 2014. First oil flowed in January 2015. Finding the oil required seismic imaging, sound waves mapping underground rock layers and trapped hydrocarbons back in the 1990s. Berkut drills 45 wells from a single fixed position, including 28 oil producers, 16 water injection wells to maintain reservoir pressure, and 1 cuttings reinjection well for waste disposal. To reach the reservoir from one spot, the platform uses directional drilling. Wells stretch horizontally up to 4.3 miles or 7 kilometers, threading a needle through rock while standing still. Each well needs multiple steel casing strings, cemented into place to prevent collapse and isolate zones. In earthquake-prone areas, those casings have to flex without fracturing. But the wells are the easy part. It is keeping the platform alive that costs millions. Berkut's topside houses drilling equipment, crew quarters, power generation, control rooms, storage, and a helipad. Below, the gravity-based structure, a massive reinforced concrete caisson, is ballasted with water and sand to anchor it permanently to the sea floor. Berkut was the first offshore oil and gas platform in the world to use friction pendulum bearing isolators between the topside and the base. These allow the topside to slide and absorb earthquake energy instead of transmitting destructive vibrations directly to drilling equipment and crew quarters. It is designed to handle up to magnitude 9.0 earthquakes. On the seafloor, a blowout preventer, a massive stack of hydraulic valves, sits on the wellhead. If pressure surges unexpectedly during drilling, the blowout preventer can shear through the drill pipe and seal the well in seconds. Standards like American Petroleum Institute, Standard 53, 5th edition, govern these systems. Around the base, Berkut has a specially formulated high-strength concrete belt designed to withstand collisions from ice blocks up to 6.5 feet thick drifting at several knots. This replaced more expensive metal shielding used on other Arctic platforms. For power, Berkut runs 4 gas turbines at 60 megawatts each, plus 3 diesel generators at 5.4 megawatts each. Total capacity is 256.2 megawatts. That is enough to power roughly half of a medium-sized city. The platform is energy self-sufficient. Pressure control is everything. Drilling fluid circulates down the drill string and back up the wellbore. It cools the drill bit, carries rock cuttings to the surface, and exerts hydrostatic pressure to prevent uncontrolled flow of oil or gas. In tectonically unstable formations, the pressure window is narrow. Too little pressure and the well kicks with an uncontrolled influx. Too much pressure and the formation fractures. Berkut uses managed pressure drilling techniques to control bottom hole pressure in real time. If something goes wrong, A single button initiates platform-wide emergency shutdown. All drilling stops. Wells are secured. Non-essential systems power down. This protocol evolved from past offshore disasters. Any unexpected shutdown can cost millions in lost production and restart time. There are layers of protection between reservoir pressure and the environment, including casing, cement, the drilling fluid column, the blowout preventer, and surface control systems. Date Norska Veritas, the classification and assurance company, certifies offshore structures for compliance with International Organization for Standardization standards for offshore and Arctic operations. But hardware does not operate itself, and out here, the human factor is where things get strange. Berkut operates with 237 workers normally. Shifts run 28 days on, 28 days off, and sometimes longer during severe weather. Crew change flights use helicopters from Sakhalin Island or supply vessels in summer. Maximum occupancy is 240 people, not because of living space or food capacity, but because that is how many lifeboats can accommodate in a full evacuation. This is a hard regulatory limit tied directly to survival if the platform must be abandoned. Workers share bunk rooms, typically 2 to 4 per cabin. The cafeteria operates 24 hours a day, serving high-calorie meals to offset the physical demands and the metabolic cost of staying warm in sub-zero temperatures. Workers burn significantly more calories just maintaining body heat. Fire drills, abandoned platform drills, and blowout response drills happen weekly. Crew members must know their muster station, lifeboat assignment, and emergency role by memory. Complacency is the enemy. Repetition builds muscle memory. Blizzards can delay crew change flights for days or even weeks. When visibility drops and winds exceed safe limits, helicopters are grounded. Workers stay until weather clears, no exceptions. This creates psychological strain, extra provisions, extended pay, and strained family communication. Internet connectivity is severely limited or unavailable. Satellite phones and scheduled radio calls are the primary contact with the outside world. Some workers describe the isolation as surreal. They work on a 200,000-ton structure surrounded by ice and darkness for weeks, disconnected from real-time news or social media. Experienced drillers and engineers command respect and higher pay. Newer workers handle grunt work, including cleaning, maintenance, and cargo handling. Informal economies emerge, trading cigarettes and favors. Small conflicts over bunk assignments or cafeteria seating can escalate when people are trapped together. Workers develop superstitions. Some refuse to whistle on deck, an old maritime taboo believed to whistle up a storm. Others insist on tapping the blowout preventer control panel 3 times before a critical operation. The cafeteria becomes the social hub. Workers from different shifts overlap during meals, swapping stories, gambling with cards, and watching bootleg movies on personal devices. The cook's reputation can make or break morale. Downtime rituals include improvised gym sessions using salvaged equipment, reading dog-eared paperbacks passed around for months, and maintaining Arctic journals, handwritten logs some workers keep to process the isolation and boredom between shifts. And all of this, the drills, the food, the lifeboats, cost a staggering amount of money every single day. Berkut cost approximately 12 billion United States dollars to construct. That's roughly the gross domestic product of a small nation. While Berkut is a fixed platform, not rented like a mobile rig, comparable ultra-deepwater drilling rigs were commanding day rates approaching 500,000 to 600,000 United States dollars per day from 2023 to 2025. A single day of unexpected downtime on a major offshore operation can equal the annual budget of a small town's public works department. At peak capacity, Berkut produces 4.5 million tons of oil annually, approximately 85,000 barrels per day. At 2024 oil prices, roughly 80 United States dollars per barrel on average, that's nearly 7 million United States dollars per day in gross revenue. Everything arrives by helicopter or supply vessel, food, fuel, drilling equipment, spare parts, chemicals, fresh water. Logistics are choreographed months in advance. A missing seal or valve can halt drilling and cost millions, while a replacement is sourced and transported. The platform was projected to generate more than $9 billion United States dollars in revenue over its first decade. It is designed to operate until 2050. One day of production revenue equals roughly 70 times the median United States household income or the cost of building several schools. Now let's clear up some myths. Myth 1. Offshore platforms are just big boats that float. Reality, Berkut is a gravity-based structure. It is made of reinforced concrete and anchored by its own 200,000-ton weight. It does not float. It sits permanently on the seabed. Unlike floating rigs, it has no dynamic positioning thrusters or mooring lines. It is essentially a skyscraper built in the ocean. Myth 2. Arctic platforms are abandoned in winter. Reality, Berkut operates year-round, including during brutal winter months when temperatures hit negative 44 degrees Fahrenheit and ice surrounds the structure. The platform was specifically designed for continuous operation in these conditions. Seasonal shutdowns would be economically catastrophic. Myth 3. All drilling waste gets dumped into the ocean. Reality, on Berkut, drilling waste and industrial wastewater are re-injected into subsurface cavities where oil was extracted. This technique is designed to prevent ocean contamination and to preserve local marine ecosystems, including crab and sea lion colonies. But here's the thing no myth prepares you for. Living on Berkut is not romantic. If this story is gripping you, hit subscribe and drop a comment. Tell us what part of rig life we should unpack next. Remember that lifeboat limit? It is not about regulations or cost cutting. It is because when something goes catastrophically wrong on a platform designed to survive magnitude 9 earthquakes and 59-foot waves, evacuation is the last line of defense, and there is no margin for error. 240 people live and work inside one of the most extreme engineering achievements humanity has built, surrounded by ice, darkness, and seismic instability. They do repetitive, dangerous work for weeks at a time, disconnected from the outside world, sustained by high-calorie food and the knowledge that every protocol, every drill, every redundant system exists because someone, somewhere, learned a lesson the hard way. Berkut means golden eagle in Russian, a bird of prey that hunts alone in harsh climates. The name fits. The platform extracts wealth from a place that wants nothing to do with humans. And it does so by combining billions of dollars in engineering with the grit of people willing to live in isolation for a paycheck. It is not heroic. It is transactional. And it works until it does not. Somewhere tonight, a worker is staring out a porthole at the black Arctic Sea, counting down 22 more days until crew change, wondering if the blizzard will clear in time. That is the cost nobody talks about. Subscribe for more deep dives. Thanks.